Rules for thee and not for me is one of the greatest philosophies in the past few years, because as these years go by, you got all these different people trying to set the standard, trying to set the rules, trying to make sure that everybody's nice to one another, trying to make sure that everybody sees and hears each other and understands the plight of this race, that sexuality, that gender, that minority group. We must all understand each other, and if you're being mean and bigoted, you should be ostracized. You should be kicked out. Oh my God. Look at this thing you said 20 years ago. Let me pull it into the here and now and make it a problem for you today. Oh my God, you said this 50 years ago. Let me make it a problem for you today. Oh my God, your grandmother said this in 1921. It's time for me to cancel you, good buddy. And what's weird is that this rule only works when it's somebody who is not liked. If your group of friends doesn't like somebody, they dig up all this dirt and they throw it at them to make them feel bad. But if that person does it to you with something you said recently, no, we can't do that. And the litany of excuses that people have to shield them from any criticism, because obviously it's a learning process and this person obviously didn't know, and how dare you try to participate in cancel culture and make it a thing for this person to be a problem, even though you just tried to use it on them. What I find interesting is that I was not at all interested in anything Whoopi Goldberg said, because I heard it, I saw it, I got the full context, and you know what I thought? She's dumb. She could not articulate whatever point she was trying to make, and she sounded absolutely dumb. But the reason I'm making this video is because she's been suspended for, I think, 2 weeks. And because of that, there's whispers, there's rumblings, there's speculation that Whoopi Goldberg is upset that she was suspended and that she's thinking about quitting The View. And people saw that, and her cast members, her co-hosts, whatever it's called, and the fans are sitting there going, well, the show is called The View and you should be allowed to say your viewpoints, right? And this black woman, she's not being able to articulate her viewpoints and she's being punished for it. I see a problem with this. And what I find oh so interesting and sweet is that when it's somebody you like, you're gonna throw defense at them. You're gonna try to shield them. You're trying to absolve them. You're trying to make it to where they are allowed to give their point if it's something you want to hear and it's something you like. But if somebody else, let's give an example, Joe Rogan, comes out of thin air and has somebody on his podcast where they're saying something that you don't like, oh my God, we gotta cancel him. We gotta cancel Joe Rogan. We don't want to hear anything. We must all leave Spotify. Let's pull up these old clips of Joe Rogan saying all these things about black people and white people in the past because it's obvious he doesn't care about anybody. This game of rules for thee and not for me has to stop, because consistency is not key. You cannot sit there and pretend that you care about these groups of people when Joe Rogan is saying something dumb, but yet give a pass to Whoopi when Whoopi is saying something dumb. I understand a lot of people don't want to have these types of conversations because it makes them feel uncomfortable. It makes them feel like they're being called out. It makes them feel like they don't have a place in this world. And I'm gonna be honest, you do have a place in this world. You have a place to speak your mind. You have a place to say any point you want to make, and it is worthy of criticism if it is worthy of criticism. If you're completely right, I guarantee you people are going to hear you, they're going to listen, they're going to think, all right, this is something wise. But if it's something dumb, somebody is going to criticize you. The sexiest black man might criticize you. Random person on Twitter might criticize you. And you have every right to either ignore it or defend your point. And in many cases, nobody knows how to defend their point. They scream, they call each other buzzwords. They think that what they're doing is for the victory and the succession of a group of people, and they just label somebody something that they're not, and they go on about their day and they block them on Twitter. Whoop-de-doo. How are you going to actually be about the change? If you're trying to make any point, you have to be articulate. You have to be somebody that's making it clear what you're saying. If you offend somebody, do what Whoopi did. Apologize. But then she went on other places and tried to grandstand and tried to give the non-apology, so that really didn't work. But even still, you have to be able to articulate what it is you're trying to say, because if you're not, you're going to be a subject of criticism. And the criticism Whoopi got was well deserved. It wasn't something where, oh my God, they're trying to ridicule a black woman. No, the black woman said something really damn dumb and deserved to be criticized for it. But to act as if, oh, now Whoopi being punished or Whoopi having to be punished because she's giving a viewpoint, that's a problem. And she has every right to quit. She has every right to sit there and be upset. That's the same logic you have to keep for all these other different people who say things you don't like. And if you're not going to do that, then what's the point of any of this? What's the point of sitting there being upset about Whoopi? What's the point about being mad about Joe Rogan, Dave Chappelle, or any of these other people who you either support or hate because of something they say that you either like or don't like? Stop setting these rules if you're not going to follow them. Stop using Twitter as your shield to criticize and throw blame and throw insults at all these other people if you're not going to do it for somebody you support. If you're not willing to at least be a little bit consistent in what rules you set for everybody else, then why are you wasting your time setting the rules? You're showing your hypocrisy. You're showing your bias. You're showing your ineptitude to actually be somebody who's consistent about what offends you and what offends another group of people. If you're going to sit there and get mad at me and say, oh my God, how could you say that? Because blah, blah, blah here and blah, blah, blah there and Whoopi this and Joe that and Joe's white and Whoopi's black, as if race is something that's supposed to be a factor in what somebody says. Unless it's about race, it has no standpoint. It's nonsensical. There's no point to make here. If you're somebody who's going to say, oh my God, let's pull up this clip, that clip, and this clip from 30 years ago and make it a problem now, but you're not going to say anything about a clip that's 3 days old, we have a problem with consistency. We have a problem with individuals thinking that they're the kings and the safeguards of humanity when they're not doing their job, because the person they have to do their job for is somebody who they idolize, they follow, they respect, they donate money to for some odd reason. They think that that person cares about them, even though they don't even know who they are, because they have to be the hero for them. You can't criticize them because they're not worthy of it, even when they say the most outlandish shit. I'm tired of all the passes and all the getaway cards. Enough is enough. Whoopi deserves to be criticized, and if Joe is saying something outlandish, again, I don't know. I don't listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. If he's saying something outlandish, he needs to be criticized. Anybody else saying something dumb needs to be criticized. If you're openly shitting and discrediting on a group of people, minorities or otherwise, you deserve to be criticized. If you're trying to gatekeep and you're trying to make it a thing about race or sexuality or gender, you deserve to be criticized. And if you can't articulate your point properly and you're sitting there fumbling your words and you're making mistakes and you're antagonizing a group of people, whether if that was your intent or not, you deserve to be criticized. Are we clear? Are we cool? I know we're not, because it's rules for thee and not for me. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.